Welcome to part 2 of this video series of how to mix a rock band on a live console. In the first part we looked at all my drum inputs, so if you've not seen that, check it out down below, or I'll leave it linked up here somewhere. But in this video we're going to look at the instrument channels, so bass and guitars for this band, and yeah, let's dive onto the console and take a look. So jumping back on the desk here, we're going to look over the instruments now. So for this band, we've got a bass guitar, and then I've got 3 electric guitar players. So everyone in the band is playing a quad cortex, and normally what it is I've got stereo channels for each of these. I've condensed them down to just be mono, because that's more typical of what we'd be using in a smaller venue. You'd probably only have one line of these instruments. So I've just combined these down, and then you'll see that I've adjusted the trim here just to make sure that combining them into a mono sum, I'm not giving you more level than what I would normally have. Everything's still hitting around the same sort of gain level that it would have done from the recording. But yeah, let's start going through some of the instruments. So we'll start with the bass guitar. Same again, you'd select the channel, you'd set the gain first, and then we'll take a little listen. So put the filters in, and then I'm not going to do any gating on the bass. I want the bass to pop through. Maybe if I had more time, I'd maybe go through and kind of like use a key source here to the kick drum. Maybe bring down a bit of the bass using the kick as a side chain, but that's something for a future video. For now, we'll keep it nice and simple, nice and quick. So bass guitar, no gate. On the EQ section, just going to bring this high pass filter up so that we're letting this low end be taken up by the kick drum. So we know that our kick is between like 50 and 60 hertz in the subs. So let's just bring this up to like 75, roll off all that down there, leave all that space for the kick drum. And then same with the top, I'd probably just roll this down until you hear it take away some of this high-end fizz. You don't take away too much, like this is a string noise, it sounds pretty good. That's kind of what's driving the bass. But if you turn the EQ on and boost up here, you'll hear this sort of high-end hiss. We don't really want that, so let's just bring that down, bring some of that out, and then let's use that high frequency notch there just to bring some of the string noise into it. Like I said, that's kind of like driving the bass guitar in the mix, so give it a little bit of clarity there. Then maybe bring out some of this stuff in the mid-range here, scoop that out a little bit, give it a bit of space. This could be where the body of our guitar is probably going to sit. It's kind of where our snare drum's sitting, and it's going to be like where the body of the vocals is sitting. So let's just clear that out for them, ready? And then let's just give it a bit of low end boost, nice and wide, and find where it's sounding the best. So around there, let's give it a little boost. So we've got our kick drum sitting a bit lower, and then we'll let the bass guitar take this sort of frequency range. And then onto the compressor. So with bass, I do like to compress my bass quite a lot, especially with rock music. You want it to be solid and consistent. And you'll notice when a bass is playing, when they're playing the lower open strings, and then how much it changes when they go to the higher strings, you kind of lose volume, lose a bit of clarity. So you want to smooth that out the best we can. So I do like to compress it quite hard. So compress it on, I'll probably do like a 5:1, 6:1 ratio. And I'd probably attack it quite quick. I'd probably try and take those transients out a little bit and make it a bit smoother. So we then bring this down so we can start to hear what's going on. I'd probably go for something like this, keep it nice and tame so it's constantly compressing, and then when it gets louder you can see it's doing a little bit more. But obviously we're taking quite a lot out there, so let's just bring a bit back in the makeup gain, and hopefully that kind of holds it together. That's a good starting point, I think, for the compressor. And then don't need any effects or anything, so I'd start there. I'd maybe take a listen to the bass and the drums together if you've got that option, and just make sure that the bass guitar is not really interfering with the kick drum, which right there it's not, so I think we're good. So let's just bring all the drums out, back to the instrument section. So it's good for bass for now. Let's start with the guitars, and I've got 3 guitar players in this band, so it's quite hard to like carve out where they sit in the mix. But I've got a rhythm guitar here, a lead guitar in the middle, and then another rhythm guitar on this side. So this one's a bit fatter, and the first one plays a bit of lead sometimes, so we need some clarity left in this one. So what we'll do is start with guitar 1. You'd set the gain, bring this up, and put the filters in. So I would roll in the high pass filter until we hear stuff that we like start to disappear. and then just roll that back a little bit as well. So get rid of all this low end stuff that we don't need. And then with the top end, same, I'll just roll this down until you hear some of the fizz disappear and it kind of gets more focused. I know it sounds like we're losing a bit of the top end there, but actually all we're losing is that high end fizz that we don't really need. Let's just get rid of that and get it focused in the middle there. I'm turning the EQ on. I kind of want this to sound quite full, but I also don't want it to interfere too much with some other bits of the mix. So let's just try and get rid of some of this harshness. And with guitar, I always like to have quite a narrow cue. Just get rid of what we need to and not take out too much. So that whisper around there, just take a little bit of that out. And then I'll maybe use this lower one. So what we're seeing here. I'm going to take a bit of this out, but then put some of this back in for the body. And not too much, just kind of carving our way around. So we know that our low end of our bass and our snare is sitting here, so just put a little bit out. But nothing's really sitting in this section, so we'll let the guitar sit there. And then moving on to the compressor, I'll probably just go for a little bit of compression, maybe 3 to 1. Quick-ish attack, but not too quick. We want to let the transients through. And then just bring this down so we're hitting a dB or 2, and then we know that if the guitar all of a sudden jumps in volume, it is going to catch it to keep the peaks together. So a couple dB gain. And I'll probably start here, and with having 3 guitars, I'd come back and I'd change the EQs, kind of make them sit together. But for now, it's a good starting point for that one. Get the next guitar player to start playing. And select this one, set the gain, bring the channel up, and then again, start with filters. So again, I just bring this one up. It's probably going to be a bit higher because we quite lead. So this tone is going to be slightly higher in frequency range. Bring this in. Again, the top end, trying to bring it down to get rid of some of that high-end fizz. And just get it a little bit more focused. So if you hear there, you kind of lose some of the clarity a little bit. So just bring it back in there, kind of like sit at that point. So bring the EQ in, same again, I'm going to kind of like find where it's harsh. Just take a little bit of that out and make it a little wider. And I'm actually going to give it a little boost at the top here for the clarity on the lead stuff. And then same with this, I'm going to maybe take a bit of this bottom stuff out, boost a little bit of this, and then onto the compressor, same again, not compress too much, just trying to catch it, give it a couple of dB, and then listen to them together. Drum down. Everything's sitting kind of nice together. So I'd leave it at that for now, and then on to guitar 3. Same again, set your gain, or select channels, select your gain, set all that, and then turn on the filters, and then bring the channel up. High pass filter in until it starts to sound a little bit thin, and then just dial that back a little bit. Same with the high filter, let's turn up. Bring this down to get rid of that top end fizz. And then just have a little listen to kind of a whistle there. Let's just get rid of that. And then this guitar is kind of more chuggy, it's got a bit more body to it, so let's try and give it a little bit of help around that area. Down here. And maybe I'll just start with something like that. Again, let's just set the compressor similar to the other ones, just so it's catching some of those notes. A bit more gain. And then bringing all guitars together. In a small venue, what I'd probably do is just pan these 2 rhythm guitars slightly. So I'm going to home screen, guitar 1, maybe just pan it like 25 to the left, this one 25 to the right. Just giving them all their own space, so you can kind of identify where each guitar is sitting. It's not too much clashing going on. You can hear that this is a thicker rhythm guitar, this is a fizzier rhythm guitar, this is a lead. And kind of just play with the levels of those so they're sitting where you want them to, bass in there as well, and again let's bring the drums in. I think we're in a good starting place there with those channels for the instruments. Yeah, I kind of start from there and then move on to the vocals in the next video. So again, subscribe down below. I'll leave the next vocal channels video linked somewhere around here, and see you there. Peace.